Good morning. I'm Kerry Angel. I'm here to talk to you about stewardship, kind of, but really about what St. Martin's means to me and what it's meant to our family. I'm a little nervous, but I know that I'm among friends. When we came to St. Martin's at first, it was 1996, and it was the first time we'd ever moved far away from home. We had two little ones, just babies really, and we were so happy when we found an Episcopal church that was close to where we lived, of St. Martin's, and we loved it. You know, as far as we were concerned, it was love at first sight, and we were made so welcome. And both of our kids had their first communion here because Father Frank would give you communion as soon as you could gum up a wafer. And that was so special to us. But before we'd been here even a year, we never celebrated Christmas that first year here because we moved again. And we loved our new home and we loved our new church there. But when we learned we were going to be moving back to this area, we were so excited because there was going to be a new school, there was going to be a new home, new friends, but we already had a church because we were coming back to St. Martin's. And I will never forget, we had just gotten back. We're so happy. And right away, there's an announcement that they need volunteers to go and help start a new church, St. Barnabas. And so my husband, because he's a good person, he looks at me and says, "Should we do this? Should we go and help?" And I said, "No." No, we just got back. Somebody else has to do that. And God bless those good people who did go, but we were not among them. We stayed here. And so Rex and I got involved in things. Our kids, who were school age by then, got involved in things. And so there was Vacation Bible School and Sunday School, acolyting, and then eventually EYC, helping with Vacation Bible School, and then by and by graduation Sundays, one after the other. And those were good years. Those were happy, happy years. So many good memories. And then one of the happiest times of all was Halloween night, 2015, when our daughter Elizabeth married her husband Zach, right here. Our son Stephen was a groomsman. Our daughter-in-law now, Jessica, Stephen's girlfriend at the time, was in the congregation, and there were so many people in the altar party, in the congregation that we loved, and it was just magical. But there were hard times too over the years, when people we loved were sick, when we lost loved ones, grandparents, aunts and uncles, when we lost Rex's father, when we lost his brother, much too young. And the people of St. Martin's were here for us then. There were always prayers and love. And I remember when we came back from his brother Todd's funeral, the first Sunday we were back in the congregation, Father Frank looked out and saw us, and he said a special intentions mass for his brother Todd. And that meant so much to us. But the hardest time was not that long ago. I know a lot of you know. Our daughter Elizabeth and her husband Zach were expecting a little girl. They'd settled on a name, Charlotte Michelle Rose. Elizabeth had been feeling her kick, and then I got to feel her kick on Thanksgiving Day. I will never forget that. I will treasure it always. That was a gift. But then a week later, when they went to the 20-week appointment, there was no heartbeat. Our little Charlotte had not been able to stay with us. And that was hard. That was really hard. But our Elizabeth came through the delivery safely, and we were so grateful. And what happened afterward was amazing. The things that God has done for us and continues to do for us, to bring us comfort and to let us see Charlotte's presence, her joyful presence in the world, has been astounding. It is a source of wonder to us. And there has been so much love and so much kindness from our friends and from our extended family and from strangers, the nursing staff in the hospital chaplain who baptized Charlotte using our Episcopal service. But I'm here to talk about St. Martin, so I want to talk about that And I want to tell you about how Mother Paula ministered to Elizabeth and Zach when they were in the hospital. Because you have to remember, this was early December. There were no vaccines yet. And only Zach was allowed to be in the hospital with Elizabeth. And so we could only stand in the parking lot and wave up to the window, or we could FaceTime. But Mother Paula arranged a Zoom call so that Rex and I and Zach's parents could be present while she used Zach's hands to perform a special blessing and naming service for our Charlotte. And it was so beautiful. It was so comforting. And then when Elizabeth was discharged from the hospital, Evie called me right away, and within an hour, she had arranged for Phyllis Best to bring us enough communion sets that we could take with us to Elizabeth and Zach's house where we were all gathering, which is about an hour away, so that we were all able to have communion as a family. It was almost the first thing that we did, and that was so comforting. And within a day or two, Julie Sutton showed up with food from the Quiet Committee to stock the freezer. So much food. And all through this time, there were so many messages of love and support and shared stories of loss. So much love. Cards and emails, even from people who had been to St. Martin's and had since moved away, but they keep up with us because St. Martin's is that kind of place. Just so much love around us. And then a few weeks later, and again, you have to remember, we were weeks and weeks away from having any kind of in-person service with the congregation yet. But we were able to have a memorial service for our Charlotte in the memorial garden. And loving hands set up the chairs and the altar and made things ready. Mother Paula officiated. Our friends acolyted. Annika put together a beautiful bulletin with a pink rose on the cover, Charlotte's name and her birthday. And it was beautiful. It was the perfect send-off for our little Charlotte. And it was so comforting. Last week, Father Allen reminded us in his sermon that the Episcopal burial service is an Easter service. And that's so important to remember. That's so important to remember because I know I'm emotional up here, but this is not a sad story. This is not a sad story because Charlotte is safe with God, which is the most comforting thing. But she's also still here with us. We carry her in our hearts. We see her in the world around us. And she inspires us to try to be better, to be kinder, to give more, and to love more. And she always will, until we see her again. One of my favorite writers, Alexander McCall Smith, said, "There is a sea of love, and we are all in it." And that has never felt more true than in those early days of our grief, when we were surrounded and lifted up and carried forward by so much love. And a lot of that is because of you, the people of St. Martin's. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. Thank you for being with us through all the joys and the sorrows in all the years that we have been among you. And that is what St. Martin's means to me.